getting high, you may dip. So just be prepared, start, setting appointments and events. And I was like, well, shoot, I'm going to start trying the airport. So I started texting and calling and at the airport. And then by the time I had landed in Denver, I got a message from a friend saying, I just bought a tower garden from you. Just wanted to let you know, when is that event that we can go to in with the seedlings and about the tower gardens in May. I was like, great, cool. Let's so I sent them the information, and then the next morning I went over, or next afternoon, was it next afternoon or next day? Anyway, bottom line is I went next door to my neighbor. She's on the product. Her kids are taking it. And I was like, hey, do you know anyone else that wants to get their kids, flooding their bodies with fruits and vegetables? I'd love to have an event in your home, and you could have it at my home. And she was like, actually, why don't you talk to my sister? So we set an appointment on Sunday for 2:00. And then I have 2 more people I'm meeting on Saturday morning, just because I was just on the phone. I was like, just making a call. Hey, it was really just out of excitement because I was so pumped up. I was like, oh my God, I just left the best meeting with amazing people. I would love to share what it was about, and I think you'd love it. And that was it. And people just responded. So yeah, so I've got 2 appointments with 4 people, 1 person with a tower garden, and then I called my mom. I'm visiting her in June, and we're going to host, she's hosting a wine and wellness on my behalf. And so she's already on the phone with some people.
Is that in Dallas or Virginia? Where is that?
That's in Virginia.
Virginia.
Yeah.
Amazing. And then who did you sit next to at the airport?
Oh, yeah. So I was sitting waiting for my flight at the bar, and I looked over, and of course this was after our lunch, and I was like, had a glass of wine and a martini. So I was like, ooh, so excited. I looked over to my right, and I was like, Eric from Teamsy. He was like, yes, that's me. And so we just started chatting, and he said, well, I encourage you to stay on the system because the Doug Fire team, the one that just got NMD, that walked the stage, he said within 6 months of committing to the program and just doing a little bit every day, he made it to NMD. And I was like, sweet. Well, I was on it yesterday, on it today, reached out to something like almost 55 people in the last couple of days. I'm again, just trying to ride this high train, because I know your emotions kind of go up and down, but I'm trying to just capture the high when I can, and then that way I figure, ride this train. I'm just to get me onto another train, you know what I mean? And kind of get that going.
So smart. So smart. I told her she's got the Midas touch, keep touching. So anybody else want to share anything from conference or anything that happened since conference or while we were away at conference? I'll have to unmute because we're going to have a conversation now. We had a great conference, you guys, and I thought it was a very pivotal conference for our entire team as far as people saying, you know what, I can do this. Why wouldn't I do this? Being really embraced on the mission. We do have some changes coming up. I'm not going to go through those right now. I'm going to encourage you to wait until we get back from the NMD meeting, which is going to be in May. We'll have all of those and we'll do those then. We've got some new products that are going to be coming out as a soft launch in the summer for sales coordinator and above, our Lift Energy drink. And then the fall conference, everybody will get to have that. So you want to get to sales coordinator before June if you are on the bubble, okay? And then I also want to say thank you to Jenna for hosting the call last week. You did a great job. I listened to the call today. Sorry it took so long to get up. And awesome job. So thank you.
Thanks.
Okay. All right. So who got a chance to read Fending Off the Scatterbomb? Good job, Jen. All right, Sue, right now, Rachel, everybody. Okay. What do you guys think of this chapter?
I think that it just kind of clicks in exactly with what we learned at conference.
Yeah.
And keeping it simple, staying focused, staying with your eyes, putting blinders on and going for it. I think like with what Victoria says, that Team Z piece kind of helps us stay focused on the activities that, move us forward, make us money, help people get healthy, and keep us from getting scattered. So I just think it was so timely. A perfect chapter for coming home from conference and kind of resetting and moving forward.
I thought so too.
Yeah, and I think there's so many. I really liked and enjoyed this idea of really helping our just new representatives, like kind of warn them about that this is going to happen. Like, you're going to see this over here and that over there, and am I in the right business, and am I, with the right company, or should I reinvent the wheel? No, just follow the system. Keep it simple. I do love that our product is super simple, and what we have with Juice Plus is simple. So it does help us to stay less scattered than I think you could with a lot of other companies. So I do feel grateful that our company really just keeps us on this mission-driven focus.
Yeah, and our motto at the beginning of the year for our team is simplify, unify, and multiply. And when I actually listened to the chapter again as I was driving down to pick up my dog, which was a 40-minute drive, and I wish I could have counted the number of times the word simple came out of the radio, right? And I think that, for us to move forward, don't complicate things, you guys. We've had, since the beginning of me starting 16 years ago, we've had the same simple system, and people always try to come in with some new whatever or new way. There's new tools that we get, but the system has remained the same. And I really resonated with some of the things where people, if they keep trying to change it, people get confused. Mm-hmm. And Mel and Ellen and I 2 years ago sat down for an entire day trying to decide, what can we just kind of shove off to the side and what can we keep simple, because we felt like there's so much coming down the pike. Now, with that said, there is so much to choose from that I think we need to, the part in the very beginning, he says business without blinders. New distributors must be warned to put blinders on during their first year, to have, go after the consistent duplication of one simple success system in order to avoid confusion. There's a Zoom call every day or 5, there's lots of events. There's all kinds of trainings that you can get on. Hey, Deb, the best thing you can do is just listen to your sponsor and get the things you want to be at. You want to be at conferences, the summits, and the boot camps in your regionals. Those are your main events that you want to really make sure you're going to, because they're bringing the best of the best in to tell you how to keep it simple and how to do your business. And your team call, staying plugged in. That was the other part that he talked about, was staying plugged in with your team, because not one person that he said in all of the years and the hundreds of people has been able to do it without team support. Not one. And that was really crucial. What else did you guys get out of this?
So I know that there's a part where they're talking about the dentists that joined the network marketing that resonated with me. I'm trying to find it though. I thought I highlighted it. Oh, I know. What resonated with me, I think, is the they've been successful dentists, and but they had sort of, that they'd had these self-imposed limitations. They felt trapped in their dentist business and everything, and that they were playing small and playing not to lose rather than win. And it resonated with me because they're obviously painting a story of how these dentists sort of overcame that. And so it goes back to what, Catherine Lee said about building that platform of belief. I mean, you have to build it for yourself first before you can, bring other people on and support them as well. But I really liked that. I mean, I know it's a little bit off topic from the being scattered,
right?
But it was still something to me that I love the quote: the true tragedy in life is not death, but that which dies inside us while we're still living. And that's how I felt. That's how I felt in academia. I felt like, I guess playing small, like felt like, and so that's something that I got from, I think from conference, is that my takeaway was really, just dealing with that sort of head trash and getting rid of that. And, that and complacency, along with the like getting, overcoming complacency, because I think that's kind of what they're getting at here too with the dentists, and the, not really playing to win, just playing not to lose. And so I think that helps me to reframe how I'm thinking about things, and will hopefully help me stay focused, because I definitely came off of both last conferences, obviously on a high, but then came crashing back down when I got home, because it was Rowdy had broken his arm, then he had surgery, and his parents came to town, and the kids were getting out of school, and you kind of all of a sudden you're like, what happened in the last 2 months?
Right.
And then the same thing in, well, really the fall was a little different, but Rowdy had come with me, and we had a good time, and was pretty motivated. And then, but my parents were here when I got home, and I spent the week letting them fill my head with let's just say we have a good relationship, but they don't help me clear the head trash. The head trash gets stirred up more when they're around.
Sure.
So
family, right? Going to save you from yourself, right? Well, too, Rachel, I thought about you during that as I was driving today, because sometimes we just need to also be patient with people. I mean, you're coming from being a famous researcher, PhD nutrition, genetics, all that, to a whole different way of thinking. And sometimes, your brain's not used to the way of ours, even though our system is simple, it's new for you. So, thinking about when we bring people on board, to be patient with them, because, it is simple, but for some people it's so different that it's a hard adjustment for some, and if they stick with it and they're coachable and teachable and all of that, then they realize it doesn't need to be that hard, just like you. But, sometimes it's really easy to get frustrated with people instead of being patient with them. What else? By the way, she's going to kill me for this, but Deb, wave. Deb Tauser just joined our team. You guys give her a warm welcome. She joined Ellie's team. Tauser, I said her name wrong. So we're excited. She's a teacher. So we have another smart one on our team, which is awesome. So you guys will get to know her as we get going. So she's here in the Denver area. Okay, what else? What else came up for you guys? What else resonated with you?
Well, one thing that I saw that, that I have struggled with is setting your own pace. Trying to stay on track and set your own pace. It's hard to do every day when you have, other things that are asked of you as part of your other life. So that that resonated with me. Also, the fact that we know what we have, but I tend to do this. I tend to downplay it to people. I don't want to share big numbers or share big possibilities with people. I used to be afraid in the past that people wouldn't be able to see that, and they would be like sketched off a little bit. But in reality, we do have this magical thing in our hand where you can make as much as you want. You can have as much time freedom as you want. And I have to remember that it is awesome. And if I believe in it, then everybody else will believe in it. So that really resonated with me too. Right. If you do the work,
yeah,
you set your pace, then yeah.
Okay, so I have a little saying. One of the things they talked in here, they also said they've never had anybody do well that have tried to build more than one network marketing company at a time. Mm-hmm. And I have a little saying that I'm sure drives everybody crazy, but you can't ride two horses with one ass. Sorry, I'm gonna say it. With one butt, okay? One butt. So sometimes we bring people on that they're doing a bunch of different things. And why do you guys think that that's difficult to do too?
Well, don't you think part of it's just like your focus, and then let's just say you've been in one for a while, right? And then you sort of add this other one in, and then people are like, well what are you doing? Like, Were you doing this? Were you doing that? And I think just like keeping things straight and you never give 100% to one thing, right? So I just think you get distracted. So I think that goes to, I was just looking at something in here. It kind of goes to, there was a quote in here that said, it's essential to have your destination clearly in sight even before the journey ever begins. And I think if you're doing two different things, you don't have your destination really in sight. I mean, because you're torn. So
I think your credibility is also affected.
yeah.
Yeah. That's what I was going to say. How do you think people view you if you're like, hey, you want to watch, like which one you want,
I think it just ultimately shows a lack of confidence in either one. And, people are ultimately going to follow people who are confident, not perfect, but confident in what they're up to. So, it's like, I don't know. I've seen so many people try and do this over the years. It never works.
Can I just say that most people who try to do two that I've discovered, they usually drop out of both of them and don't have success with either of them. Quite truthfully, they get disillusioned, disheartened by the whole thing, and nobody wants to join them because they don't know who and what they're trying to do either. So I've seen that more times than not.
I always kind of wonder, do they really believe in either one?
Yeah, exactly.
And then to make money. Like, I don't want people I talk to about Juice Plus think I'm talking to them just so I can make money. I want them to know I'm talking to them because I care about them. And it's hard to do. They're like, oh, and I got this and this and this and this and this. Now, it's another thing to say, well, I'm a wholesale buyer and I get my essential oils from wherever, right? For yourself, as long as you're not building a downline or whatever, that's different. That's buying something wholesale. So I know some people are like, oh no, I buy my whatever oils, right? So that's a little bit different. The other thing that I thought was a big one in here was lack of structure, and not just structure in your team, but structure in your day. And for years, I've said the number one thing you can do is to run your business by appointment. Everybody has the same amount of time every single day. It depends on what we want to do with it. And I feel like a lot of people in this world right now, we have a lot of distractions with social media and all kinds of things like that. We start to think what won't work instead of what will work. I mean, I did two calls on my way to go pick up my dog today. Now I could have said, oh, I can't talk to you. I won't be in that. I got to go pick up my dog. Right. But instead of say, oh no, sure, I can talk to you while I'm driving. I can have it come through the radio and I'm paying attention. So what will work, right? So you can fit a lot of stuff in those stolen moments, those little cracks of life. It doesn't have to always be, oh my gosh, I'm checking in for my job. I got to be there from 8 to 5. It's not like that. But I do think it's important too for you to make sure that you are putting the big things in your calendar now. Like, you better know when that next conference is right now. You better know when boot camp is. You better know when all the events in Denver are, because those are the things you don't want to book around. You don't want to book on top of them. You want to book around them if you can, right? So one of the things too is you want to get your kids' school calendar. If you've got kids, you want to put all of their things that you need to be at for their school in their calendar. So you can make sure you're there and you're not ever being stressed out because you promised somebody you'd come do a wellness event for them, right? So if you can run your business by appointment and get some structure into your day and kind of know where you're going, what you're doing, you'll find you have more than enough time to go as fast as you want with this, quite honestly. And you may have to give up a little bit. I told Ellie, I know she likes to go to a class at our gym on Monday nights. And she says, I don't know if I have time. I said, well, you're going to have to make some time, right? Maybe go to a different class that week, or maybe you go to the gym at lunch and run instead. I mean, you do have to decide what will work. I mean, if you were going to go get another job somewhere, you'd have to put some time towards that, right? So what will work, and it can be really fun to kind of put it through the nooks and crannies. I built a lot of my business just by, you know, taking my kids to the zoo and talking to a mom while we walked around the zoo. I mean, that's how Laura Colander came on. You know, we went and did a zoo visit, and then I gave her a bunch of information. So what else, you guys?
Yeah, just to add to that, I think they said they called them woven moments rather than stolen moments. Right?
Oh, I like that
At
so
the
much
conference,
better.
I like
Me too.
that saying because
Yeah.
because if you're waiting to steal those moments, sometimes they never appear. I mean, I had to put back on my calendar like Teamsy Connects just to remind myself, because I found when I was working on some talks the last couple of weeks that I was giving, I didn't get on Teamsy, you know, for a bunch of days in a row because it just wasn't on the calendar. And so I realized I actually needed a prompt in there, or I wouldn't find that time to, you know, that hour, the power hour or whatever. So yeah, it had to go in the calendar.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One thing you could do if you're a, if you keep it on your iPhone or on your computer, you can color code your calendars, or you can use Google Calendar, and every category is called a calendar, and just make them different colors. I like that because then I can be pretty honest with myself, like how much juice plus do I have coming up this week? Or I can share a calendar. Like I share a calendar with my kids, I share a calendar with my husband, so we don't have to compare calendars because I know when he's working and what his stuff is. He knows when mine are. He's part of the family calendar, things like that. So I think that's a really good way to not be so scattered, because, you know, time, you know, where you invest it is going to be what you get back. Time's the number one thing we hear. Oh, I don't know if I have enough time. Well, you do have enough time. And if Victoria has enough time, you guys, I'm going to just say her again. She's got 6 kids she's juggling. She and her husband are both doing evening shifts in restaurants. That girl goes and gets home 1, 2 in the morning, sleeps for a couple hours and gets those kids off to school and does it all again the next day. So she's doing it. Anybody can do it, right? So I'm giving you some kudos for that, girl, because it's amazing what you've done since we got back from conference. So anyway, any other thoughts around anything else you guys that struck you for Scatterbomb? How about different systems? How about switching stuff all the time?
Yeah, that was what I was going to say. It says, what does it say? Like, work with a system long enough so that you can see the effect of it actually working. Do you know what I mean? Like sticking with one thing.
Yeah.
And so you reap the benefit of that actually working. So I thought that was like, oh yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
So, and even, you know, like if you talk about like just, you know, doing the DMO, like having like, God, okay, I had a bunch of events on my calendar this month, but I didn't really see that work out, you know, my paycheck didn't increase that much or whatever. If you did that 3, 4, 5 months in a row, like massive activity, that's when you see the big impact happen in changing your business, you know, and I feel like people don't give it enough time to be like, oh, I did a bunch of events just, you know, this week or this month, and expect everything to change in that amount of time.
Yeah. I think the thing we also need to remember, especially with some of the, you know, the newer people that are on our team, is that this isn't a job. You know, we're not collecting a salary. This is something you're doing in woven moments. I'll never say stolen moments again. Thank you for that. And this is an opportunity that you're building upon. You know, like Jen's a dentist, and Jen, I know that when you probably opened up your dental office, you probably had debt. You probably didn't get positive for several years, right? Over the debt just to get that office opened. But we have none of that. Like, we're $50, you're making money back on your own order, more than what you paid. And now you've got to build your customer base. And now you're starting to build your organization, and that takes time. And so in the beginning, you're going to put some more time in the front end than maybe what you get back. But as that starts to grow, just like any business, just like a dental office, eventually and very soon, you'll be like, oh my gosh, now I have this nice recurring income stream, and I'm surprised what I got compared to the time I put in. So it flips. But you do have to do the work to launch your business. And if you do it, it'll pay you forever. So it's worth your time to find those woven moments and those few, concerted efforts that launch it off the ground. So, any other ahas, Ellie or anybody else? Kathy? Ellen? I know she's got the kiddos. Okay. Well, I hope you guys are enjoying the book as much as I enjoy it. I feel like if I had read this, like I said, before my first month in the business, I would have been a year earlier to National Marketing Director. So next week, we're going to talk about eluding the meeting minds. So, and then we have, in a couple of weeks, we've got Eric from Teamsy. So in the middle of the book, we're going to be taking a little bit of a break just for 1 week so we can have Eric from Teamsy come on, because I feel like that has just totally woven in with our system and made it even better. So that's one of those changes that we're loving. So anybody have any questions or anything else before we end the call?
I was going to say one more thing. I just was looking. One of the things they ended that chapter in, it said, you can't avoid crises, but you can prevent them from completely diverting your attention away from your intended objectives by using each one as a stepping stone to propel you to success. And I know it's easy for me. I wouldn't necessarily, I haven't run into any major crises, but just things that maybe they seem like, okay, well, this is more important, or I have to get this done, or I have to get that done. And to maybe reframe that a little bit, instead of just letting them just completely distract you.
Yeah, we hear that a lot.
Yeah, I like that too.
I can't do anything because I'm going to be getting married in 6 months. Like, well, what are you doing every moment of the day? Are you know what I mean? They're still kind of putting out people will just use, I know they have a big event coming up they're excited about, but they still going to work.
Right. Yeah. And I think, even yesterday I was thinking, I don't know if I'm going to have time today to do Teamsy, but it doesn't have to be, I think it's kind of sort of like that 5 days a week or whatever sort of thing. So I was like, I'm going to do some stuff yesterday, because if I don't get an opportunity to get to it today or later this evening, at least I feel like I'm sort of still on track. You know what I mean? So just trying to reframe some stuff. And again, those woven moments, right? I had some downtime yesterday. Why not? So, yeah.
I can piggyback on that, Jen, if you don't mind. I'm just going to say, when I send people YouTube and they say to me, well, I don't have time to watch that, I said, do you ever go into the bathroom? Take your phone with you. Use that stolen time right in there. You have no problem. Watch that YouTube.
One way to kind of around that is to ask them, would you have 2 to 5 minutes in the next few days if I sent you some information?
Yeah, exactly. And they always do.
Susan, I totally set an appointment while I was on the toilet yesterday.
You go, Victoria. You go.
It's not that I always bring my phone on the toilet, but whatever, I got captivated. And I was like, oh, I just set an appointment. Great.
See, it works.
That's one way to read. Awesome.
Can I say something, you guys?
Yes, Beth.
Oh, hi. I'm sorry I got on really late. We were doing dinner and I lost track of time. But I got my book today. Yay. Super excited. Woohoo! So I'm a little behind the curve, but I wanted to say that a lot of times I've been doing things while I'm nursing the baby. And I'm just literally sitting there doing nothing, checking Facebook. I'm like, well, what am I doing? I might as well, make a couple phone calls, or I've been watching a lot of videos and just learning about the system and about the products. And right now I'm, taking a break really quick after dinner while Daddy's inside with the boys, so there's definitely time, even though, we're running 2 businesses and being a full-time mom and all of that. So
awesome. Good job.
And Beth, I just want to say welcome to our team. Beth just joined Jill's team, and I think she just hit her HLP Sunday. So Jill is confirming, so that's awesome. I'm so proud of you.
Yay, great job.
Yeah,
great job.
We had one person come to my opening, but she was the perfect person to come. She was really excited, and she ordered the trio chewables and the shakes.
Great.
So
Awesome.
yeah, I'm really excited.
And you did it, so I'm so proud.
Gonna
Nicely
let
done.
you know how she feels. That's awesome.
Yay. Thanks.
Fabulous. All right. Well, you guys have an awesome week.